Lashon the Sicha Chayisol, the Kabbalah Pnei Moshiach Tzidkenu, Bepel Mamish. So the Rebbe made it very clear that we cannot be just spectators and standing on the sidelines and enjoying the show, but the Rebbe is demanding action and personal action. So after that Sicha, interesting, just a little bit of history, and maybe somebody will be able to correct me because if I make a mistake here what I'm saying. As in any other place where the Rebbe says, we should get together and the Taka say so, and we should think and plan and see what it is that we can do, and to send suggestions. So there was a meeting obviously here in Mונטריאול, also right after the Verbringen, after that Sicha, place here in Shriki, in Samt Chabad, Shluchim, Maskonim, obviously Anash, Chassidim, etc. came together. And everybody understood very clearly that this time it's serious. This is not just another nice little Verbringen of L'chaim and Elias Nafshi. Elias Shali Osisi, I did mind what I came to Verbringen, I cracked a little bit and I moved on. But there has to be something which is Bel Amish. So actually a suggestion which came from Montreal from that meeting was the concept of learning in Uga'ula Moshiach. This is what we need to do. One way, as the Rebbe said, how we could bring about Bel Mamish, the reality of Moshiach, of Geula, is through learning the Inyan of Geula Moshiach. And actually, thanks to us. And this is what was sent as the Hatzor, what the Achlata from the meeting over here in Mונטריאול. And in fact, the Shabbos, the whole Verbringen was exactly about this concept. And the Rebbe called it Derech HaYishod. The Rebbe connected this with the Parsha, with Tadriya, with Tzorah, with the Pirkei and with Achei Kedoshim, and Chodesh Iyar. And the whole Sicha was all about learning the Inyanim Geula Moshiach. So first of all, I would like to now, together, we should learn the end of that Sicha, which you have copies here on the tables or wherever, which is the Rugelige Sicha, the end of the Rugelige Sicha of Nun Aleph, Tzadriya Metzorah. And the Rebbe says the following: Yopir Haderech Yeshor Nizgalus Ubias Mashiach Al-Yedei Malchus Sheb'Tiferet. The Rebbe explains earlier Malchus Sheb'Tiferet, that means Limud HaTorah, B'Negei L'Maaseh B'Poel, U'Ba'Akdama, by prophecy. Shekim Mashiach Tzidkenu Oimed Lo V'Tekev U'Miyad, since Mashiach is immediately coming. But the point it didn't materialize, and therefore and therefore we need the last effort. So that it still requires the last effort of each and every one to bring Mashiach. The action has to be loyal to Malchus with our Senyon Shel Melech HaMashiach Atzmai. Malchus, it says Malchus Sheb'Tiferes, Malchus is goes on Mashiach himself, and on the Malchus Sheb'Tiferes, Kilayma, meaning Inyan Shel HaMashiach, which he is Malchus, as it is Kefi Shu B'Torah Tiferes, Ka'amol Le'il, as is explained earlier in the Sicha. Shalidei HaTorah, through Torah, and particularly Inyan Shel Mashiach, in Yonah Mashiach, the two Rav, Torah, which is, because the Rebbe explains earlier, that Mashiach has two levels, in the Melech and Rav. So through the aspect of Mashiach, who as Rav, in Pshachim, in Mizgalim, Ha'oris, and Yonah Geula, in Yonah Mashiach, the two Melech, or Pnimi. That the two levels, Mashiach as he is Rav. So this brings about, and it reveals the Ha'oris and Yonim of Geula, which is the ring of a Melech in a Pneumistic Eufen. Oberpashtus, Tiferes, and it says simple words, what does that mean? U'inyin limud HaTorah u'malchus Tiferes u'limud HaTorah binyan Melech HaMashiach u'binyan HaGeula shenisbaru b'ruba m'koyves. Pashut, learning the inyanim of Torah and inyanim Melech HaMashiach and inyanim Geula. The Rebbe divides this in two issues. There is the inyanim, learning the inyanim of Melech HaMashiach, who, what, when, etc. And then there is the Inyan Geula, which is being explained in many a place. In Torah, Shebiksav, Ubefrat, V'Divra Nivim, Shekol, Asforim, V'Levi, Davos, as the Rambam said that the entire Nivim is filled with the concept of Gula Mashiach, or the B'Torah Shebaper, the Gemara, or B'Fat B'Mesech Sanhedrin, Mesech Seiter, in the Gemara which discusses there the whole process and the different events which might or will or could happen in the time of Gula. And then the Medrashim, the Gamma B'Miuchat, and particularly the Pnimis HaTorah. Hechel, starting the Sefer HaZoyah, because as it says, Shebahai Chibura Diloch, the Iru Sefer HaZoyah, Yafkum Bein in Galusa Barachmin. With this Sefer, with the Sefer HaZoyah, we will be redeemed from Galus, with Barachmin. Ubefrat, and the Rebbe continues. Learning the Torah Achsilis, Shalidei HaFotzes HaMayones Chutza, as we know, also Mar Malkum Mashiach. As Mashiach said that through the Fotzes HaMayones will Mashiach will come. And the Rebbe goes further. This is Torah Achsilis Bechlal. And then the Rebbe says, learning in particular the Torah Rabbeinu Nisienu, Ubifrat, and in particularly the Torah Soi, as the Rebbe puts here in Sakrayim, Mamorim Ulakute Sichos, Shadesidareinu. But the Rebbe says we have to learn his Sichos. As the Rebbe says clearly, Lakute Sichos is the Rebbe Sichos. All the other forms called other Sefer Chassidus, all Lakute Diburim, and so on and so forth. Lakute Sichos, that is the Rebbe. So the Rebbe says clearly we have to learn his Sichos, the Sichos of Nesidareinu, Me'en, the learning of these in Yonah of Torah, and particularly the Sichos of Nesidareinu, which is Me'en in the image, in the idea of the Dugma V'Achone, the limit of Rosh Hashanah, which this is a preparation to learning the Rosh Hashanah, which is what Mashiach is going to do, Torah Chadosh B'Titzeitze. What Mashiach is going to do, what? Sheyilamed L'chol HaPnimis HaTorah. Mashiach will be teaching everybody the Pnimis HaTorah, which is Tainat Torah, the essence of Torah. Yedia Selakus. Da is Elokim Yichak. Sagt in the Rambam, as the Rambam says, Shebois HaZman, in the time of Gula, Yisrael Chachomim Gedolim will all be at this level of high level of Chachma, V'yodim Dvorim Astumim, V'yasikud Asboilam will be able to learn the Inyanim Elokus, understanding Elokus. V'yisafir B'lim Rator B'nyam Yishiach V'gula, so the Rebbe says they suffer learning more these subjects, Malchus Sheb'Teferes, Haderech HaYeshara, this is the straight way, the road, Lifoil, to accomplish his Galus, Ubias HaMashiach, V'Agula B'Peil Mamish. And the Rebbe continues, V'al Shel Poil Bosi, Amin Tachlis. Ubevadai Ya'oru V'Yifasu V'B'chol Mokav V'Mokav, and certainly this will be publicized in every place. The what? K'dei Lifoil is Galus, Ubias HaMashiach, Tenke V'Miyad, Al Kol Echot V'Echot M'Yisrael HaNoshim. Hein Yosh V'Oyo Yisachar. Behem Bala Esek makes a difference what this person's occupation is. If it's a Yoshev Oil, is a Bala Esek, Yisachar Zabulan, V'chein Anoshim, V'atav, Kol Chad V'chad V'fum Shiud, and everybody according to his capability. What does he have to do? Says the Rebbe Lahoisim, B'lim Edator, B'miuchad, B'inyan Mashiach V'gula. U'mateiv, and how better would be certainly better, Shalim V'kir Barabi. The Asara Yeminyan. The Rebbe explains why. Kidoi Yisef Ala Maila. The Asara Shiyoshi Poisik B'Torah Shchid Shchur V'neyam. Yeshmayim Yuchedes, there's a particular quality, particular virtue, Keshalom Diminyan Mashiach V'gula Barabim. B'negel L'Ispailos V'Asimcha B'Regesh Alev. Shalidei Zeh HaNeches V'God La'ishtokikus Atzpiyah L'Biyas HaMashiach. By learning in Barabim, this creates an excitement, an enthusiasm, and a simcha in the feeling that what, and this brings a greater desire and a greater yearning and a thirst for Biyas HaMashiach. V'oil di'ikar kaposhut. The hoisi b'kiyim ha'mitzvahs b'hidr, not just the learning, but it has to translate itself, Pashut and Peil Mamish, in kiyim ha'mitzvahs b'hidr. And the Rebbe says, what kind, which mitzvahs? Obviously he talks about all the mitzvahs, but b'miuchad, b'hidr b'mitzvahs ha'tzedakah. Particular attention, particularly in the mitzvah of tzedakah, which as I said, that tzedakah is in Kareves HaGeula. V'kedai v'nocha lekasher ha'yisofa b'tzedakah ha'yisofa b'tera b'nyan Mashiach HaGeula. That when we do the mitzvah of tzedakah, this should be connected. they saw the Torah, as it says, Binyan Mashiach Gula Haso, Ali Deze, through the fact that he suffered it's stuck in the Kavana, the Karev of the Zaris is Agula, when he gives the tzedakah, you should have in mind, an intention that the purpose of this tzedakah is in particular that this should be Mekarev and hasten the Gula, given Shikavana Zuka Shala Atzma, Chelik Melim La Torah Binyan Gula. Min Alimu B'machshava Mizman Lezman, the Maimon so the mitzvah should begin with the intention, specifically that this should be Mekar Magud. And the Rebbe continues in Yerotzim. It should accomplish this which it's supposed to, which is what? Is God also be Samashir Repair Mamish, take it from Yad Mamish, over Pashtus. Shebiyoyim HaShabbos Kedish Pashtus Ishu Kitazir V'yom Nezocha. There's the entire Samitzah, there was also Mechubar. And then it says, Lifnei Kriyas HaTorah. Lifnei Kriyas HaTorah. V'alachas kama v'kama lifnei limud Pirkavos v'mincha. Before we got to do mincha, before we got to lay the Torah, we should already be here laid us. V'izgalos Moshiach Tzidkenu. Who? Chivre de Rebbe. K'fi shehu b'yem ta'avasa. Earlier in the Siyach, the Rebbe explains what is the meaning, why Moshiach is called the Mitzvah, and the Rebbe goes through at length the whole concept, what is the Torah, that means that it's a very high level, etc., etc. We're not going to go into this right now. So the what? That it should be right now, the later of the Izgalos Moshiach Tzidkenu, Shezorchim Lishmoya Achroza, that we merit to hear the announcement, B'chol Olam, or B'chol Seder Ashtal Shel the word, Shehi Nezeh, Umar Betzboy, when was every connection, you point with the finger and say what? He is Melech HaMashiach Bo. והנה זה כבד קדוש עצמו יחומעת לסידורנו בו. וייקים שהקיצו ברן לשך לאופו, וצדיקים קומו לתחילו מיד. וכל רבוסינו ונשיאנו וכל צדיק ונשיא ישראל ומישהו לעין אומץ. It should be so clear. So obvious that right now there's the Gula בבל ממש. וביחד עם כל בני ישראל דנוינו וסקינינו ובנינו פנסינו. אוי דקה בצולות ונקבוצות. מאשור במצרים ומאי היום בוי ומננו שמיילו. לארצנו הקדש של ירושלים מהקדש לביס המקדש שבית תפילים יקראו לכל העמים. ולקדש הקדושים משקוסם בפרשה שקרת הקף במנחה הדברית לפרשה אחרי וזויס יום הארון אל הקודש. הוא יזהרון כניסס כל גודל ביום הכיפור בקדש הקדושים. תציין צלו עושים לו ולא רק הארון, אלא גם כל אחד ואחד ישראל שיהיה בדרגס כן גודל, וכל גלובים למלאכס כהן עם כהנים גדולים, איננו ליום הכיפור ובאבל תאתר קודש הקדושים, אלא גם בכל שור שרוי צליקוניס, איזה ללב ולקנאת לקודש הקדושים. הדבר concludes the שיחה, ואוי דבריקה, שכל זה נעשה בפעל ממש למטה בעשרות פוחם. In what way? שכך שיכולנו להודות שלבורך עלינו אז בסגלוס המשיח שהחיינו וכימונו והגיענו לזמן הזה. So this is the conclusion of the Sikha which the Rebbe said right after the Sikha of ניסן, where the Rebbe explains what is it that we are expected to do. Says the Rebbe clearly, what we are expected to do is learning and living the Inyan Mashiach, learning it, and then the mitzvahs that we do should be permeated with the thought and with the concept and understanding the kavanah that it's all about, all about, and for the purpose of Geulah. I got an interesting email from a man in Eretz Yisrael. Today we have a WhatsApp, that most of the WhatsApps are usually downloads, but sometimes you get something which is up. Most of it is a total waste of time. But one is a WhatsApp, something that is elevating, uplifting. So I got one of those WhatsApps here, and he brings an interesting Tanit Ve'Eliyahu. Actually, I have some copies here. So he brings the Tanit Ve'Eliyahu, but again, what the Rebbe says over there, Matei, that we should learn the Inyanim as they are with a minion. So it brings a very interesting Tanit Ve'Eliyahu, Perek Yudalid. There it says, She'en Yisrael Nigolim Lo Mitach Tza'ar Lo Mitach Hashibut. ולא יהיה מתוך הטירטור, ולא יהיה מתוך הטירו, ולא יהיה מתוך המחי. ולא יהיה מתוך שאין להם מזוינס. That Mashiach, the Geulah is not coming because of all kinds of sufferings, because of all kinds of sorrows. Ella says, מתוך הסור בני אדם שהם יושבים זה אצל זה, a million people that are sitting together, ויהיה כל אחד מהם קורא ושואל עם חברוי וכל נשמע. That we have a million of people who are sitting and learning together. Und einer hört sich zu zweiten. Das heißt nicht klar, wir sind zusammen. But everybody reads, man hört das ja, das sagt nicht, aber es sagt, man soll nicht hängen. Einer darf hören und zweiten. We should be willing and capable. I guess this is a tremendous difficult thing, right? To listen. To speak and to listen, just as a little to the side. What? Yeah. So, I excuse my digression, but one way I was driving back from New York, I was actually just coming from a very heavy meeting with the whole certain union. And I was in the car, I was coming to the border, I was on the phone, at that time you're allowed to speak on the cell phone on the car. And I'm coming straight to the border, and I still have my phone in my hand, and I'm passing, I'm giving the officer, I'm just giving my passport like as if it doesn't exist. The fellow didn't appreciate it. He really didn't like it. He told me, sir! I said, yeah, I'm sorry, okay, yes. I put away my phone, and I listened, yes. Where are you coming from? New Jersey. What were you there for? A meeting. What kind of meeting? A meeting with rabbis. What are you? Rabbi. So you got a meeting with rabbis. So I say, yes. So they looks at me, and he says, Rabbi, excuse me, were you talking or listening? I said, thank you, officer, you made a very valid point. So this is what the Talmud Meliah, I think also says over here, we listen to what the other one has to say. In other words, that learning is a learning together with respectfully appreciating and recognizing somebody else's opinion also. This is what it says, this is what it brings in the Talmud Meliah. I don't want to go into the whole Marichas over here, because it's quite interesting. There's another... Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. Let me continue the whole, the Talmud Meliah. Shemena, Vahatzi, and Tio Pleite, Vayakedesh, וכן מציעים בניסים הראשונים שנניגענו במצרים, אלו מתייתים יותר. אף על פי שלא הגיע עדיין 4 ימים של קבלת התורה, ולבוא עדיין לידי אויסו השור, אלא עשו תורה לכל ימיהם, וכך נאמר בהם, וגם אני שמעתי אסנאי כסברי ישראל אשר מצרים אביד עם אויסם, והזכר את בריסי, לכן אמרו בני ישראל אני אבי בצייסי אסכם. So it says, the schools why the English was hearing, heard the Nakas being Israel is because of the limited terror which was taking place in Mitzrayim. So as he says, he received the concept of learning. Ga'ula is connected to learning in Yonim of Torah and Dafke Ulaminyan. But he brings another, as he says here, Yesh Noik Yosef, then it says just the opposite. Echot men koyre lechaveroi ve'en koyre nishma. Right? So this is what it means, the learning together, ve'en koyre nishma. So he goes in all Arichas and he found...
It's okay, do that to the
So, he says, he brings an interesting thing. What is the ve'en koyre nishma? He brings in a bottom from Oitze Perush Rashanim al Atfilis, Rabbi Shalom, and he says, the Toiv le'espalel b'dimo, kishar yedimo lo'imina. Und die Zeige Chasen Basor Kishoim Esliches. וכדאמרינו במסכת שלוש דברים תהילה לך, and it brings this message, שאין ישראל, אין הניגה לניאל ומלתך הצעה, ואין כולי נשמע. And he explains, Loima, he explains, what does it mean, ואין כולי נשמע? שצויק עם כל כך, the person is davening with such fervor, und es kam mit Tfilason, he's so involved, so immersed in his tefillah, and he schreit, as he sein tefillah, shem koira echet chavero leyochel nishmoya. He's so involved, and he's so engrossed, and he's so totally into his davening, that he possibly doesn't need anything else. And that's what it means, ein koila nishma. Not chas v'sholem, as ein koila nishma, he doesn't care what the other one says. Possibly in such a trance in his davening, so to say, the Suya Tzadke b'koila. In any case, he's on the sign. So he brings this as a interesting, not that the rabbi needs a bucket for this, but this is just an interesting kind of how we find over there how it's connected, the learning with a minyan is what brings about the Geulah. So the Rebbe says over here two things in this yichud. Learning the Inyan Mashiach HaGeulah, and the Rebbe adds, and this should burn in itself in Kohen Mamish in what? In mitzvahs. Which mitzvah says the Rebbe particular mitzvah? Tzedakah. The Tzedakah, the Chula, is the minyan for Amas Yisrael. I think it's quite telling, quite obvious that Hayom Yom Avchov Ches Nissen, which the Rebbe wrote in Tavshin Gimel, which the Rebbe writes that Hayom Yom, this is all about how, what do we do to prepare ourselves to Geulah. The answer Hayom Yom is Achon to Geulah. Says the Rebbe, Hayom Yom Avchov Ches Nissen, you have it over here, of the Mom Avchov Ches Nissen. So the Rebbe brings in Hayom Yom, Machsidim Shalos, Atmor Azot. Which is a higher level of avodah? Avos Hashem or Avos Yisrael? And as the Rebbe responded, Avos Hashem and Avos Yisrael stehen ka'achas, they both equal, they're all one. Chakukos, engraved in Shmos Ruchoi v'Nafshoi shel kol echad b'Yisrael. That Avos Hashem and Avos Yisrael, both of them are equally engraved in the Neshama and the Ruach and the Nefesh of each and every Yid. And the Pasuk says, Ahavti Eschem Amar Hashem. The Rebbe says, He loves us. Harei, the G'doyle Avos Yisrael, the Oyod Masha, Oyod Oyod. So the Rebbe says, Ahavti Eschem Amar, the Rebbe says, He loves us. So if we love the Rebbe, the Avos Yisrael, and the Rebbe says, it's so great that we love the one who loves. In other words, so in Chav Ches Nissen, says the Rebbe, what is the avodah of Chav Ches Nissen? And Hayom Yom was not just written the Tavshin Gimel, this is our Hayom Yom. For every day, every time it comes Chav Ches Nissen, that Rebbe Nachamol, the importance of the concept of Avos Yisrael. I want to share with you a beautiful thought, and Hashem Onvel, and all that, from Yossi Jacobson. And the Ashgacha brought this, I heard it, and I found this saying an amazing concept. And in his most eloquent style, which I am not going to copy, but he brings a pasuk in Mishli. He quotes a pasuk in Mishli. And Mishli says, Shlomo HaMelech says, Shloisha heimo niflu mimeni, va'arbo lo yedaitim. Shloisha heimo, there's three, which is to me a wonder, and then there's Arbo, and there's 4 lo yedaitim. 1,000,001 Mefarshim. I don't know who he quotes, but he quotes someone, some of the reliable sources. He says that Shlomo HaMelech says the following. There's one mitzvah that we perform, one mitzvah that we do with 4. And there's one mitzvah that we do with 3. The mitzvah that we do with 4, lo yedaitim, says Shlomo HaMelech. I don't know that, I don't understand it. And the mitzvah that we do with 3 is completely, for me, a complete pella. It's a complete wonder. So he says, I think he brings it from the Sfasemis, if I'm not mistaken, but I might be wrong in the address. Sukkos, Arba Minim, we do the mitzvah with Arba Minim. Lulav, Esrik, Adasim and Arabis. Says Shlomo HaMelech, this mitzvah, lo yedaitim. Das heißt. And then he says, welche mitzvah, welche Yontif macht man mit 3? Pesach. Pesach, Matzah und Moreh. Sagt the mitzvah that we do with 4, this I don't know. But the mitzvah that we do with 3, to me is a total wonder. It's even beyond not knowing. Das meint So we all know what this 4 represents, the 4 meaning, right? The Esrik represents Torah mitzvahs. The Lulav represents the one who is involved with Torah, but his emphasis, his priority is Limud Torah. Tam. Adasim is Reach, his emphasis is mitzvahs, but his priority is not about Limud Torah. And then finally, the Arava is Arba Nacham. Es ist beim Beach. No, es ist beim Wasser. No Torah, nicht Katam und nicht Reach. B'Shem Yisrael Yechunen. Aber wir tun die Mitzvah, wir bringen sie alle zusammen. we bind it together, and the esrog we put together. One without the other can't do the mitzvah. We can't do the mitzvah if we're missing a part of any one of those four. Meaning, says Shlomo HaMelech lo yobaiti. In Chochmah, in the art of Chochmah, I don't understand how you can unite those four total opposites. How do you put together an esrog with an arova? What do they have in common? Verstehen nicht, that Rabbi Chochmah, Rabbi Seichel, hat es nicht gekannt, hat those four could be together. That is not basic. How do you jive, how do you unite, how do you become one, how you do it together? Wir schottelt es zusammen, wir nehmt es zusammen, we do it together, das ist Leute. Aber nein, Leute, du weißt nicht. Aber die drei, those, the one that we do the mitzvah, when the three things, das ist bei Gonga Pelle. What's the three? Pesach, Matzah, Umor. So again, he brings from somewhere, that Pesach, Matzah, Umor represent three different kind of Yidden. Pesach represents, a fire that you read. How do we eat the Korban Pesach? Tzliach. Why should we kill the crowd completely from top to bottom? From Korban Pesach, brennt in the Korban Pesach. A fire and kocht in the Hule, kocht sich mit Savitor, lebt den ganzen, is completely inflamed, is a passionate Jew. Full of fire, full of flame, full of excitement, full of enthusiasm. This is the Pesach heat. The Northern kommt, the Northern sagt, the opposite is a Morerit, a bitterer. A bitter Jew, a negative pessimist, allzubannen bitter, allzubannen nicht gut, allzubannen schwarz, can't see any positive in anything. Even this what's burning, it brennt a verbitterter fire. Although such a bisschen more, a bisschen Brennchen dort, aber a bitterer brenn. And the complete opposite of the passionate, heißer Korban Pesach heat. The Nacht der Matze, lechem eini, dat is gedaan, dat is geen rechts, dat kan verwegen, lechem oini. But, sie platschig, sie ist da sehr bitteldick, wie alle meines, aber sie ist, sie doch ganz zu Tisch. So, Shlomo HaMelech, to eat them together? Mainly you put out, meaning one next to the other, you connect them. No, each one still keeps his own identity. Bleibt nur sein Metzies, der Arove, die Arove, der das ist der Lulav is the Lulav, der Essig, okay, we put it together for a moment. But the Poyer, they all keep their own, they still keep their identity. You unite, you accept them into your space. No, keine Frage bekabelt sein. But to eat it together, so den ganzen Englisch, so den Metzies, how is this possible? In Chochmah, die Shlomo HaMelech, sagt das in die Scheich. In wer rennt von die Scheile für Shlomo HaMelech? Sagt so kommt mit einem Seder, so what do? Keiner Sehillel. Macht man ein Sandwich. Keiner Sehillel mit mancher Bisavidischer Keim, Korech, Pesach, Matze, Umor, Vayechlem, Biyachad. What does it have to do with Hillel? What's it done with Hillel? What is Hillel accomplishing? So he goes in the whole Arichas, there's a famous Sikha from the Rebbe, how the Rebbe connects the whole Shas, all the Machlekes from Hillel and Shammai on one Nekuda. And the Rebbe geht durch ganz alles Shisha Zilbershטיין. The Rebbe brings an example from each one of the Shisha Zilbershטיין, etc. It's a long Sikha. But the Nekuda, the Rebbe will just take, let's take two examples. Mach the Gei Boyer Eish. So we all say, Boyer Eish, Lashon Rabbi. Shammai says, no, you have to say more oil. What's in the machlekes? Shammai says, I see one flame. So I say the bracha, Lashon Yachid, one flame. Hillel says, every flame has many colors. When you look deep into the flame, you analyze the flame, you will see that it's not just color. Hanabikvani, as it says, many colors in there. Another tukma, when the Rebbe Dotten, when you get Ketzat Maragdim Lufnakal. How do you compliment the Kala? What do you tell her? So Shammai says, Kala Kiboshi, you are what you are. Right? If you're great, I tell you you're great. You're not so great, I tell you you're lousy. Simple as that. You take, they said Israelis do great. You're the bottom. That's what you are, this is who you are, that's what I tell you. So Hillel says, no way. You have to say, Kala Nova Chasuda. He says, Shammai, when we say Kala Nova Chasuda, and Thomas said, Kala Nova Chasuda, are you going to be lying? You can't say, Sheker. Like the Willow, so what? Are we going to see somebody who made the bad deal? You're going to tell him, you idiot, you just got a bad deal. Is this what you're going to tell him? Sagt Hillel, no. The bird that was on Kalanova Chasuda for us, because to the one who made that deal, to him it's Kalanova Chasuda. And this letter goes through further the whole story with the Gerim, the three Gentiles, again, everybody with another issue. This one wants to stand on one foot, the other wants to become a Kohen Gadol, and the third one wants to learn over Torah Shabbat. They're trying to send them all packing, and Hillel, he tuned into all of them, welcomed them all, and eventually, it says, when they met, it said that the severity of Shammai would have pushed us away, and the acceptance of Hillel. So that explains what is this Nekuda Hillel of Hillel. What is the whole idea of Hillel, the difference between Shammai and Hillel. So the Rebbe says that Shammai looks at it the way it is now. This is what I see, this is what it is. I see, but I have a look. I do biology. I look at the flame. Do I go analyze the whole flame? I see one flame. I see one yellowish color. I say one flame. So Hillel name could be still deeper. Don't look just at the immediate. This is a very simple way of saying that. Rebbe gives a much longer explanation. But in the Kudah, basically is this. Do we look at the whole picture? Do we look deeper? Do we look further? Or do we look just what seems to be apparent? So when I look at a person who comes and says he wants to be the guy who's standing on one foot, looks like a total nutcase, so I send him packing. Aber tracht sich herein. What is it that this person is coming and what is he saying? Let me try to understand. Let me go to the depth of this person. Let me analyze the situation. Look deeper, look further, look the inner dimension, the essence, the genius of everything. Then I see it a totally different way. As we have in Tigavas of this week, we learn, what does Hillel say? And as we know that Rebbe explains in Tanya, we can design Shalom. How can there be Abbas Yisrael, the Emes? When the essence of our being, when the Neshama becomes the main part of our life, then I can appreciate somebody else's too. If my life is all about Gashmius, then I look at somebody else from the same perspective. But if my life is a bisschen edler, if my life is permeated with the Elokus, then with the Neshama, then I look at another Jew also with the Neshama. So this is what the Baal HaGoda sagt, Cain also Hillel. Hillel was the one, this which Shlomo HaMelech, Al Bichachma B'Seichel, says, I can't understand how Pesach, Matzah, Mother can become one entity, how this could be digested as one total, one dish, one mitzvahs. Not 3, 4 things that are next to each other. But with Mamish and Giants, it becomes one complete idea, one entity, one food, one plate, one dish. So Hillel was able to explain it to us. Why? Because Hillel said, look deeper. And this flaming, passionate Jew, or this bitter Jew, or the simple Jew which is so apathetic, when you try to understand the depth of this person, you'll be able to see that actually we're all one. And we commune together. And it's one unit, and it's one entity. And that's the Cain also Hillel. Hillel didn't just say it, but he did it. He acted, he lived it. So this is, I think, one of the things that the Rebbe tells us in the Sikha, in Chavches ניסן, that learning in Gona'ula Mashiach is a must. Living in Gona'ula Mashiach is what is expected and what we are capable and have to do. And emphasizing on the whole concept of Abbas Yisrael. And you all know the last Verbringen that we so far heard from the Rebbe V'Yakil Pekudi, there was those two Nekudas. Was even the Nekuda that Verbringen. Ga'ula and Abbas Yisrael V'Yakil. That was the whole Verbringen of V'Yakil Pekudi. But then the question becomes, no, 26 years since we wrote the Sikh, how can we do this? How can we stand today and have the same feeling, have the same urgency, the same intensity, just the feeling that we all had when we heard that Sikh? We all understood that this is a game changer. We all understood that the Rebbe is expecting something more than just, okay, coming to another meeting, sitzen another Verbringen and noch gehen weiter schlafen. How can we do this today? ניסן, what can we do today? Now I invite you to turn the page of the Sikha, and the Rebbe brings in a letter somewhere the Shalom, and personally I feel that the Shalom HaKadosh, as you know, when we speak about the Shalom, how it speaks to us today, to Tafshin Ein Zayin. This whole piece is, I think, literally talking to us and to us now. Let me just, it's a lengthy piece, but I'll just try to shorten it. Where it's underlined. He asks a question. By the Shir it says, we come to from Pesach, the Shir is still very part of our, what? Part of our being, part of our experience. Oynesh bei steht, als Joshua Moshe bnei Israel es Hashira Hazois. V'amar Rabbeinu, Ata Shira B'loshen Nekeva. Now, in time of Golus, we say the Shira B'loshen Hashira Hazois, which is Loshen Nekeva, feminine term. Says, what does it mean that we say Shira B'loshen Nekeva in the feminine term rather than Loshen Zohar? And then he says, oh yes, is a further interesting question. The Shira Sa'anashim, when the Shira that Moshe Rabbeinu says, Ksiva Shira Hazois Loshen Nekeva. Then it says that Moshe Rabbeinu said the Shira B'loshen Nekeva. Or the Shira Sa'anashim, by Miriam, when Miriam says that she took the women. And she gathered the women with the Tupim and Mecholos, and they said the Shira, and the short one, there it says, but the Shira Sanashim is happened, the Loshen Nekeva, the Loshen Zohar. Then it says, it's a Miriam, Batan, Lohem Miriam, Shira Lashem Ki Goy Go. Lohem is Loshen Zohar. Loshen Nekeva is Ham, Lohem, with a moon. So who did Miriam say Shira? Miriam obviously said Shira with the women. She didn't say with the men. So what said Batan Lohem? Should have said Batan Lohem, Loshen Nekeva. And he goes and welcome to learn it for yourself. So then he says like this, obviously, with the Seder in Torahs, we answer one question with another question. So he says another question. We don't say the whole Hallel, it says in Shulchan Aruch. Why? Because there's no Korban, etc. The reason why we don't say Hallel in the complete Hallel on Shvisha Pesach, it says because the Rebbe said, Shama HaKadosh Baruch Hu, mein Siyot HaTov B'yam v'atem HaMikshiro. Mein Siyot HaTov B'yam, the Mitzrayim are going, getting a wonderful little bitty. And they're going in the ocean. It's inappropriate to say she. The first two days of the first day of Yom Tov, this is related to water coming out of Mitzrayim. Coming out of Mitzrayim is not sort of the nest, pureness, nobody else is really suffering, so we say the whole Hallel. But second part of Yom Tov, where we are saying Hallel about Kriyas Yamsuf, in Kriyas Yamsuf, there were those who are suffering. So those who know that Arichas and further here should we celebrate when the Friday of Tismach, when can we celebrate, when can we not celebrate, etc. So he says, and I want to come to the point that he says over here. Shivim Panim L'Torah. There are many ways how to explain every subject. Nichol L'Tarot V'Inyan Acher. V'Yizbayer Al Pi Medrash Rabbah. There's a Medrash Rabbah that says the following, V'Zer L'Shonoi. To Shuri Nirosh Amona. So the Medrash says, what does it mean to Shuri Nirosh Amona? What is the meaning of those words? He says, what it means is, Asidim Yisrael Loi Marshir L'Osid Lavoi. Asidim Yisrael. In the future, will come a time when Yidden will say Shira L'Osid Lavoi in the future. Shemem, it says, Shira L'Hashem Shir Chodesh Kinufloi Sasa. And then the Medrash continues. Ube'ez Eschus Oimru Yisrael Shira. What schus do we have to say Shira? Said B'schus Avrom Shehenu B'Kadosh Baruch Hu. In the schus of Avrom Avinu, that Avrom Avinu had this powerful emunah in the Eibishter, Shenema V'Henu B'Hashem, Here emunah Sh'Yisrael Nechlim Boi. This is the emunah that Yidden inherited. And this is what the Pasuk said, that the tzaddik lives by his emunah, or Yechaya gives life to his emunah, having the meaning to Shura Mirei Shemona. In other words, that a time will come when you will say Shira, and why will we say Shira La'asid Lavei? B'schuz the emunah, Mirei the emunah that Avraham Avinu had, because of this schuz, we can say Shira. This is what the Medrash says. So he asks a number of obvious questions. The question. The Lashon is, Asidim sheyarim ula'asid lavei. Okay, Phil. It's a repetition. Or you should say, V'dai hoyam asidim. Asidim Yisrael la'mashira. Or ula'asid lavei. Yisrael la'mashira ula'asid lavei. Why does he repeat himself? Asidim Yisrael la'mashira ula'asid lavei. It's a repetition of the words. Gam tzorich bil, ma'asha amu be'ezes chus. What do you mean? We need this chus to say thank you to the Rebishter? Isn't this the most normal thing to do? The Rebishter macht dann das, sagt Meshira. Why do we need a special chus? So basically, what he says, hu iminu, midas hatzadikim hu, מיד שרוף תחולדו וטוב, לא משאיר ושבח לשם יזבח מיד, אף שעדיין לא נזכאים. A tzaddik, the moment he receives the promise, that the Eibishter promises him, I'm going to do something good, he's already now saying Shira, although it hasn't happened yet. And why is this? כי זהו מצד האמונה שמאמינים בדבריו ברוך הוא ברוך שמי. The tzaddik is not waiting to say the Shira till it happened after the fact, but he says Shira. Not just he says thank you, but he actually sings about it. What means he sings about it? It's already a done deal. The thing has already happened, he's already happy, he's already excited, he can sing about it in the Nishka Krech to beginning, but the happy, the Shira. It says, U'ma Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom icha v'lo mishira, ad shenasa ha'maisim. When did Moshe Rabbeinu say Shira with Yidden? Only after it happened. Why did he wait till after that? Hu b'shvil sh'atayin la'ois emunah chazaka b'Yisrael. The emunah by Yidden, although they already saw the Nisim, the Makkos in Mitzrayim, and Israel in Yitzias Mitzrayim, but now they found themselves in front of the Yam Suf. And we all know, the Rebbe discussed it as many Sikha, surprising enough, only 4 opinions. Expect not more than 4 opinions. But as we know the 4 opinions, one said, let's go back to Mitzrayim, the other one said, let's go fight, the other one said, let's live by Bayam, the other one said, if you start with Tzaddik, I'm going to die with the Tehillim in my hand, I want to daven. And the Rebbe responded to all of them, I don't want to hear any of it. There's no point going into Mitzrayim, as the Pasuk says, which answers the all the 4 opinions. And the Rebbe explains, and not going back to Mitzrayim, not fighting, not jumping into the water, committing suicide is inappropriate. Why Ba'atim Tacharishon? So this is not a time to daven. It's a time for action. It's a time for moving. It's a time for doing. Why are you stopping? And what was the davening? The davening nicht mehr Shira from Simcha, sie werden krechzelig. Will gaan staan bij Afromarida. Kom maar naar mij met dat in de hand. He'll be a heliker. So the Rebbe is the Helikite. That's not a moment for davening. What is expected? So that's what it says. והדור דפסים והאמינו בהשם ובמשה עמדו, עוז יושב משה בני ישראל. כלומר, עוז, באויסו פעם שואל משה. ולא מקודם. Before they didn't sing, before they were crechzing. מיד, מקודם, when is it מקודם? מיד שוב תוך מקודם ברוך שבו קיים. When the English promised that everything's going to be fine, they didn't actually sing that. When did they start singing? Only afterwards. Because only then they started believing, when they saw a complete, finished deal. And that's what it says, when did you start singing? When my Siyada Tabian, so the Egyptians are gone, nicht dass ich denke, it's Yamsuf. Sie schon gewähnt, die Pastor, Rede mit Zim, are all gone. My Siyada Tabian, war dem eurem Shira. Now, that's the Shira. It's very nice. Yeah, she can, but it's only half a Shira. It's not a complete Shira. A complete Shira is when you say it before the actual miracle happened. And it brings over the Maisi with Sanchera, as it says, but there comes up, he says on the page, Chelik, Dikish HaKadosh Baruch Hu Nasa Sanchera going to Magog, V'chizkiya Mashiach. The Rebbe wanted Sanchera to be the Mohammed is going to Magog, which is supposed to happen before the Geulah, and Chizkiya should be Mashiach. Amr B'Nesadim came to the Sadim and complained to the Rebbe, Dormad Melech Yisrael, Sh'Amar Kam Yishur V'Zishbach Lefonecho. V'Rasisa Mashiach, David HaMelech, who he was constantly singing Tehillah David. You did not make him Mashiach. Chizkiya Shalom Alefonecho. Chizkiya didn't say Shira. How come you going to make him Mashiach? Fight the Mukasha, but Michta the Chizkiya Oksib. There's a whole Michta many of Chizkiya, how we thank the Eibishter. The answer is, Alefonecho Baiko. Not before. He said it after the miraculous Nitzachim. Klama Shalahikdim Lama Shira Kodim Shal Sisa B'Poel Nashiv Tachto Esei. He should have clothed himself with a powerful emunah. It says, and now he explains the medrash that he asked the question before. The notion was what? Asidim Yisrael lo mashir la'asid lavoi. U'bezeh mevur ha-medrash. Now we can understand what the medrash says. Asidim Yisrael lo mashir la'asid lavoi. Koloima. Asidim. There will be a time in the future. Said, come with the time. When we are going to hear the Besuras HaGeula, the Navi, the Rebbe will come and tell us the Nevuah of Yizbas HaGeula. What are we going to do then? We are going to say the Shira right away. As soon as we hear the Besuras HaGeula in his book. As soon as we hear the Begiya Azman Geulah Aschem, Lo Anavim, all this was done, all the different Lashonim that we heard from the Rebbe, as a Mavur, V'chulu. As soon as we hear those words, we should immediately start saying Shira, although it hasn't happened yet. This is Asid La'asid Lavoi. On the Geulah, the finalization which is still going to come. But the first reaction has to be, throughout this whole time, has to be Shira. After Shira, Aferech Shira. And he continues. Dahainu, ala nisim sheyivoyu, sheyizbasru aleim, yakdimu l'shoyer miyad. When we will be told the nisim that are coming, immediately we're going to preface it with singing. The Azor V'yu B'choynik Emunasem, our emunah will be so powerful, Ki'ilu Naisa, as it already has happened. Not we're singing that we want it to happen, but it's already considered done. The shira, the singing is so powerful, the emunah is so total and permeated, and it has already completely happened. V'zeru Shira Hashem Shir Chodesh, and v'achar kach tzib ki niflois asa. Shir Hashem Shir Chodesh, we're going to sing the new song. What? Ki niflois asa. After this comes Ki niflois asa. Nach dem Singen, it was finalized. Although it hasn't happened yet, Ki ilu na asa, as if done. V'zeru, this is what it means, to shuri l'rosh hamana. Koloima, taschil l'shoyer l'rosh. Start singing right away from ahead of time. The Hainu Mikoyim Hashem now, even before it has happened. You should already say, this is what the Medrash says, we should already start singing. Aferech Niden. Why? How can you do this? It depends on your emunah. If your emunah is powerful, if the emunah in the Rebbe's Besur, and the emunah in the Eibishter's promise, the Rebbe's Besur's HaGeula is 100%, then we sing today. And now we understand Sheikh HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mein Siyot HaYitov B'Yam Atem Anu Shira. Meaning, Koloima, L'Achar Shetov B'Yam Amartem Shira. Only after they were drawn did the Siddur said Shira. Hoya Lachem Lahagdim L'Shoyer Kodim Atzvim Na'at Achar Avtocha. Yosem Gibor Kor Bamitzlei Boyamuna. I'm sorry, I realized I forgot to copy another piece. The hamshach of this is, in the Shalom, you can find the Shalom Mishalach on the Shira, and the Shalom continues there the following. Because you remember he asked the question at the beginning, why by Moshe Rabbeinu steht Lashon Nekeva, and by Miriam steht Lashon Zocher. So he explains it in the same concept. In Dikduk, Lashon Zocher represents Chayzik, strength. Nekeva is Rafu, is weakness. Sagt wer gesucht stark, who was the one who sang with full, powerful Amunah, and who was singing as a ausgequetschte Planeten. Started the women, Miriam. They sang with the full Amunah. How do we see this? The Tupim. They had the tambourines. Sagt what did they do with the Tupim? To paraphrase a little bit, sandwiches they no time to make, yeah? So we got Zeit to make sandwiches. Was haben sich nicht gebracht? Tupim. What are you going to do? You're going to swim over the ocean with the Tupim. What are you going to do with the Tupim? Then, throughout the whole time that the Yidam Zudat Misakirach given, there are the Kittas, right? There are Tanitz and Tanitz, everybody has another way how to cop out, right? Moshe Rabbeinu is a nice guy, he really tried hard, he really meant well, but, you know, it didn't work. Wake up, smell the coffee, let's go back to Golas. Ruch mit dicke Golas, Gash mit dicke Golas, jeder got another sort of Golas. Einer said, we go back to Mitzrayim, was like Gash mit dicke Golas. The Tzeit hat gesagt, let's down Ruch mit dicke Golas, right? But ultimately they all had the same expression. Miriam and the women, they stood on the side and laughed at the man, said, he can clap and cup and mouth, we have tambourines. What was those tambourines? The tambourines was the symbol of the powerful Amunah. We know that Moshe Rabbeinu told us, we're going out of Mitzrayim, so we're going to have there the tambourines to express our singing. Throughout the dilemma, throughout this time, from the moment he came out of Mitzrayim, and the Mitzrayim were behind him, and the Yamsus in the front, but all the people lost their minds, lost their Amunah Rachman al-Islam, or their Amunah was weakened. The women the women stood with the powerful Amunah with the stupim, and therefore it says by Miriam, because her singing was B'chayzik, strong. And I'm sorry, I don't know, Shalom and it concludes over there and says, in the time of Geulah,
זושא.
okay, very good. In the time of Geulah, said the Shalom, we should do like the women did. Like the women did then. As he said, we should stand with the firm Amunah and sing Afenech Nigen, the Nigen of total Amunah, the Nigen of total of Geulah. As if it already done. And that says, this will bring about the Geulah. As we know, it says, in one of the things, it's only going to help us with Amunah. What's our Amunah? This powerful Amunah, which is that we're not krechtzing today, and the Shalom is talking to us today. We had the Besuras HaGeula, as it says, Miyad Kshiz Bas HaGeula. Zot the Shalom, we heard from the Rebbe, in uncertain times, Hine, Zeba, Higi Azman Geulaschem. We already see, the Rebbe says, we already see the Prudes of Shem Moshiach, we see the Galas of Moshiach, the Rebbe said, different Lashanis, the Rebbe said, we see Pashut, Marabetz Borba, and as the Rebbe said in our when he talks about Miyad, so the Rebbe says, Menachem Shmei, and so on and so forth, and I don't think he talks about Menachem Gerlitzky, or whatever other Menachem one would think the Gabi 770. He's obviously talking Menachem Shmei, he's talking about the Rebbe himself. So the Rebbe revealed clearly that we are living the moment of Geulah. Einmal geschenkt sein meistens schon Geulah auf 26 Kilo. Ist not a große Teile. So what's the time? So the question is, are we going to krechts? Are we going to sing Oi, Rebbe? The person Oi? Or we're going to sing forward? Are we going to sing? Somebody said it in Yudalef Nissen. He said, we look Yudalef Nissen, or the Yudalef Shvat. We can come to verbringen Yudalef Nissen, Yudalef Shvat. We can start commemorating this is given Amol. Amol given a Yud Shvat, given a verbringen. Nein, the boss is. Sie given a Yudalef Nissen, sie given as a Meredik. So das is, when we take the Yudalef backwards, was das? Oi. Aber besteht mit Gestaltkeit nur in das Ja. In das Chesek. it is present. It was his Rebbe. We are still sticking with the program. We are committed. We are actioning, as the Rebbe says. I saw actioning. That's a high action. And what is the action is, your Rebbe, we're here, we do exactly what you want. What do you want us to do? So the Rebbe says, have the Emunah. Learn in Yonah Mashiach Ugula, best to learn in Yonah, best to learn, as the Rebbe says in Abi Sicha. It's not a scholar, but when we start learning the subject, we start living it. And if we live it really, it translates itself in Paramanish, as the Rebbe says, in Tzedakah, and every mitzvah, and everything we're doing, our total life is transformed to a new kind of lifestyle. Changes our priorities, changes our needs, changes our intentions, changes our behavior, changes everything. And every one of this, the Tziduk Chavches Nissen is not something that should be just a date. You know, Kum Chavches Nissen, we get Tzachakrecht, we listen again to the Sikha, and then we will move on. Chavches Nissen, we forgot about it, now we're on to other things, right? So we have to realize that this Sikha of Chavches Nissen, the Rebbe made us, each and every one, his shliach. The Rebbe didn't ask us, do you want it? The Rebbe told us, is it your besilah, you had a name of I'm giving it to you. What does it mean? The Rebbe gives us the koiches. The Rebbe makes us his shliach. Every single Jew today in the world is the Rebbe's shliach, particularly for the Niftzah Ikris, which is the Hagani, Ishvahagani, Vaisa Mishach, but the Rebbe says, the bring the Mishach, the Gula, the Fein Mamish. We're all the shliach of the Rebbe. And obviously, we can do it with the Rebbe's koiches. Right? What does the Rebbe want us to do? Our part. Wir sollen sich allein anschleppen mit unser Gottes. The Rebbe says, I did my job. What means I did my job? The world is ready. Everybody is ready. It's done. I brought you Messiah. I'm here. But now you gotta want me. I can't want for you. The whole Sikha today that we want Messiah. In other words, it says something that we want. We feel the need of it. This is something that we have to do personally. The Rebbe says, I've done everything. But now comes the time that we have to want him. Right? As somebody once said, the Rebbe takes it out of Golas, but we have to take the Golas from within us, we have to take it out ourselves. And this is L'chora, this is the Koyach Nissen, and the Zach Nissen, as the Rebbe speaks in the different levels. So Boshit, I think it's a time that everybody should think for a moment, how did I change my life? And just to conclude with the Seder, since we're on the Seder, we hate on the Seder with Mani Shtana, yeah? The question we have to ask, what did I change? What has changed in me after I heard the Sikha of Chavches Nissen? Or any Sikha that we have from the Rebbe, when I was from Golas, we have to change. What have we changed? So the Rebbe said, Ahavas Yisrael, learning on a different level, behaving on a different level, going out. I have a few minutes, I have some time. I go to Miftzayim, and I go out and tell you, put film, because by putting on film, you are welcoming Messiah. You're welcoming yourself to Messiah, welcoming Messiah into the world, etc., etc. The base Yidin is gesund, somebody is not well, let's go visit him in the hospital, etc., etc. There's plenty of things, Baruch Hashem, the Rebbe gave us a smorgasbord of so many mitzvahs. The Rebbe gives us so many Miftzayim that we can all find. But again, as the Rebbe says, remember, there has to be done with the Kavanah. Told me, the Tokman, what the Rebbe says in Sichai Sorah, with the Yonah Gola Moshe, there's no question that by singing with a powerful Amunah, Nochen Zepner, with strength, with conviction, it's happening, there's no question about it, when Manush jetzt, wenn Manush sicher sein, sensig mit Rebbe Dolamato, und Rebbe wird uns Harushlat von Gottes, und wir sich Harushlat mit Rebbe Gottes, together we're going to sing Yechia Adonenu Merenu Rabbeinu Melech HaMashiach Ne'ilam Voet.
Yechia Adonenu Merenu Melech HaMashiach Ne'ilam Voet.